Let me start this video by stating that I haven't read the original All You Need Is Kill light novel, nor have I read the manga adaptation. I went into this movie completely blind as to what I was about to watch. This is going to be a half non-spoiler general review and then a spoiler review in the second half. I'll assume you've at least watched the trailer before watching this review. Now, let's get started. All You Need Is Kill is a sci-fi light novel written by Hiroshi Sakurazaka with illustrations by Yoshitoshi Abe and was published in December of 2004. If you've seen the film Groundhog Day, then you're familiar with the main thread line of this movie. The same day is repeated over and over again. Groundhog Day and the concept of dying and retrying over and over again in a video game are the two main inspirations for this story. In games you die, learn from your mistakes, and adjust your technique and plan and get further each new life. Just like that, in this story, the main character keeps finding herself dying and restarting the same day over and over again. This is where I'll mention that the 2014 American movie, Edge of Tomorrow, is fully based on this light novel. I had no idea this was the case, but the movie immediately reminded me of what I knew of Edge of Tomorrow, even though I have never seen it. Since I haven't read any of the previous works based on and around the original All You Need Is Kill, I'm just going to focus on the 2026 Kenichiro Akimoto directed anime film itself. This film was awesome. The animation was among the best of all the anime I've ever watched. The story was intriguing yet familiar. The action was always entertaining, and I immediately was invested in the main character figuring her way out of the situation she found herself in. Let's start with the animation. This film uses a majority of 3D CGI with some retouched hand-drawn animation. This stylized animation reminded me of The Night is Short, Walk On Girl, Tekken Concrete, and Ping Pong the Animation, as well as the action sequences reminding me of Mob Psycho 100 and the action sequences in that show. The same animation studio which animated Tekken Concrete animated this film, thus the similar stylized animation. I'm always skeptical of 3D animated anime movies and the use of CG in anime, but this film utilizes it so well and has such a great style that it never pulled me out of the movie, and I found myself loving everything I saw. The colors popped, the environments and set pieces were all interesting to look at, and all the characters' weapons, suits, technology were animated, modeled, and colored excellently. I'd easily give the animation and art style a 9 out of 10. The story, while not that deep, was easy to understand, mysterious in the right ways, and kept my attention during the short hour and 22-minute runtime. As was shown in the trailer, there's a mysterious supernatural force which humans have to deal with and is affecting the Earth in negative ways. The main character finds herself on a task force to keep this force at bay, and when things go south, she finds that when she's killed, she wakes back up in her bed at the beginning of that same day, reliving the exact moments that she just lived. She soon realizes she can change how things take place and take actions to figure out a way out of this repeating day. The movie is then her successes and failures from that moment on. Day after the same day, she tries to kill as many of the monsters spawning from the alien Earth infection as she can. The story never overstayed its welcome, and the ways in which the main character attempts to end this repeating day was always exciting. She keeps the skills she learns from previous lived days and becomes stronger and stronger, getting closer and closer to getting out of that day. The main character is a quiet and lonesome girl who suddenly senses that things are about to go wrong. She feels some sort of psychological pulse emanating from the alien root. This danger isn't sensed by anyone else around her that day, so she's left to figure out things by herself. This lonesomeness is permeated throughout the movie and seems to be one of the main messages the creators wanted to convey. At times she feels as though everything she does is worthless and that she'll never escape her situation. This gives off themes of hopelessness and the dread of having no control over your life. I definitely related to the themes in this movie, and at times it's quite depressing and frustrating, yet you can't help but keep rooting for her. I'd give this story, character development, and writing an 8 out of 10. Overall, this movie is just fun to watch. The animation is gorgeous, the characters are all unique, and the story is interesting enough to propel the characters and audience through it. I can't help but wish that there was more to watch of this universe. Taking my two previous scores into account, I'd easily give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely worth seeing, and if you're able to, go see it in theaters. Now I'll start the more spoiler-heavy section of the review. We, the audience, are led to believe that the main character is the only one experiencing this repeating day over and over. However, there's anomalies that quickly pop up. Her days are restarted prematurely despite not dying. She sees a drone following her, and then finds a boy who is in a place he wasn't in during a previous run through that day. This is where the character Keiji enters the story. Rita, the main character and the audience, now find out that he's the only other person experiencing this time loop. He's been watching Rita and her experiences as she lived through the same day over and over again and improved little by little. We find out that he's been helping her in little ways throughout the days. He left out weapons for her, he improved her suit. They soon join forces, and Keiji uses his skills to improve their equipment, formulate more in-depth plans, and inspire Rita to keep trying despite how grim things seem. One thing which confused me is what hierarchy exists among the people assigned with keeping the alien route at bay. Rita and Keiji seem to have absolute access to the arsenal of weapons and technology at their disposal. Not once did anyone really question what they're doing or try to stop them from taking all the drones, mech, suit parts, robots, etc. that they need. Keiji also seems to be a super genius who can make anything they need and program all the robot suits and drones and robots to help them. Doesn't really distract anything, but it stood out to me for sure. They then found out that they were exposed by something which derived from the root and are now directly connected in some sort of symbiotic relationship, one that will soon consume either or both of them. This added direness soon leads to one of the more emotional and action-packed scenes in the movie, and one which I won't spoil. It's definitely impactful and leads to the solution to the time loop and the alien species as a whole. This is going to be the largest spoiler I'm going to talk about. At the end of the film, Keiji passes away, but when the day restarts and Rita goes looking for him among everyone, she eventually finds him. However, he has no memory of who she is or what they've been through together. To me, this fake out of him dying but not really seemed a bit off, like they just had the dramatic part in which he dies, then soon after it's revealed he's alive again when the loop reset for the last time. Just seemed like they didn't commit to his death or to him surviving, like they wanted the dramatic scene without sacrificing a happy ending. Then the question remains as to why he doesn't remember what happened during the time loop nor who Rita is. To me, this is because during the last time loop he sacrifices himself and is consumed by the alien species / mental force, while Rita was left the way she was. For some reason, Keiji's death destroys the alien root and the species while keeping him alive, but erases his memory of the loops. I'm sure there's another way to interpret or explain this anomaly, but it definitely seems a bit confusing and unnecessary. This movie caught me by surprise and is easily one of my new favorites. I now intend to read the light novel, manga adaptation, and even watch the Edge of Tomorrow movie. Also, definitely going to pick this one up on Blu-ray when it releases. Definitely go watch this movie, guys. Peace!